Shalom everybody. In today's video, I would like to start a new series of videos on the weekly Torah reading, on the Parashat Shabua, the Torah portion of every week. B'ezrat Hashem, I would like to do that with the commentaries of Rabbi Yosef Haim, known as the Ben Ish Chai, one of the greatest Sephardic rabbis. He was born in Baghdad, Iraq, and passed away also in Iraq. He was a great expert in the halacha. He was a Kabbalist, one of the greatest Kabbalists in the 20th century. He was born in the 1800s and passed away in 1909. He was born in September 1st, 1832 in Baghdad, Iraq, coming from a great dynasty of Sephardic Mizrahi rabbis, and he passed away on August the 30th, 1909. And Rabbi Yosef Haim, until this day, he is a very respected Torah figure within the Jewish people. He was also very well known and respected among the Muslim people in Baghdad and Iraq. And we know that he wrote over 80-something books. A little bit more than half of them has been published, and others are still in manuscripts, and other books have been lost. For this series of videos, I would like to use this book. It's called Aderet Eliyahu. This was the first book that Rabbi Yosef Haim published. He wrote 3 commentaries on the Torah. This is one of them. And Aderet Eliyahu, like I mentioned, was his very first book that he wrote. This is a commentary that includes also passages from the Zohar, passages from the teachings of the Ari Kadosh, Rabbi Isaac Luria, the great Kabbalist, from the books of Rabbi Chaim Vital, the Midrashim, the Talmud. He also includes here not only a commentary on the Parashat of the week, but also on the Haftarah corresponding to that Torah portion. So B'ezrat Hashem, I would like this year to do a series of videos on the weekly Parsha, all with the commentaries of Rabbi Yosef Haim with this book Aderet Eliyahu. We will share some of his ideas, not every single detail, of course, because it would be too long. He wrote so many things, but we will choose certain portions from this book, Aderet Eliyahu, and we will share the insights of Rabbi Yosef Haim, and I will also expound and add a little bit of my own insights in order to make his Torah insights more up to our days and modern times, and bring several examples to expand on his teachings. If there is any mistake, it's totally mine. I hope that I don't misinterpret the teachings of Rabbi Yosef Haim. That's why I will try to be very careful. And every time we make the videos, I will use the book. I will read from the book. I will quote from the book. The Chachamim explain that it's always good to have the book in front of you. It doesn't matter if you know it by heart, but when you have a book in front of you, people will see and they know that you are not making up things, but you are following a tradition. You're following the footsteps of the rabbis, of the Chachamim. So B'ezrat Hashem, today I would like to start with Parashat Bereshit, the first portion of the Torah from Sefer Bereshit, the book of Genesis, and I will select a few insights from the teachings of Rabbi Yosef Haim. I will read from the text, like I mentioned. I intend as well in other videos to make specific video on the life, the biography of Rabbi Yosef Haim, so you will be able to know more. As you know, in this channel I mainly focus on sharing Sephardic history, Sephardic spirituality, Kabbalah, everything connected to Sephardic and Mizrahi tradition, as this is my own tradition. So B'ezrat Hashem, let's start with this section of the Torah, Parashat Bereshit. I know that we are a little bit behind by the time that we are publishing these videos, but I'll try B'ezrat Hashem to catch up and to have every week the videos corresponding to the Parashat of the week. This will be a great project because One thing is to start, another thing is to finish, to be consistent, and to make videos every week and to stay up to date for a whole year could be a challenge. But I ask the mercy of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and with the sechut and the blessing of Rabbi Yosef Haim, that I'll be able to share his Torah with the world, with Jews from all over the world, and even non-Jews that would like to listen to these teachings and will benefit greatly from his Torah insights, spirituality that comes from the heart of one of the greatest sages of the Jewish people, one of the greatest sages from Baghdad, Iraq, Rabbi Yosef Haim, known as the Ben Ish Hai, due to one of his books. So, B'ezrat Hashem, Parashat Bereshit, Rabbi Yosef Haim says the following concerning the pasuk that says, "Vayehi erev, vayehi boker, yom echad," and there was evening and there was morning, one day. This is coming from Bereshit, Genesis, chapter 1, verse 5. It says the following. This is the commentary. It is known that the main function of Bnei Israel in this world is to separate the sparks of Kedusha or holiness, and it means to remove the good parts from the bad ones. Hence, after the sin of Adam HaRishon, after the sin of Adam, the good parts fell into the klipot, the evil forces, and became mixed together. The selection and elevation in a spiritual manner of the sparks of Kedusha is done through upholding mitzvot and performing good deeds and learning Torah. And when it is completed, then all the days will become one long and wholesome day that has the same level of Kedusha, because there will be no blemishes in a spiritual manner to differentiate one day from another. So here we have a very basic and important principle in Jewish mysticism, Jewish Kabbalah. Remember, Rabbi Yosef Haim was a great Kabbalist, one of the greatest Kabbalists of the 20th century. He, as you know, Kabbalah is the Jewish spirituality to the deepest level. There are 4 levels of interpretation of the Torah that form the acronym for the word Pardes: Peshat, Remesh, Derash, and Sod. And Sod, or the secret, is the 4th level, meaning these are four layers of interpreting a text. And this principle, known as, we could say, Kedusha, the sparks of Kedusha or holiness, the idea behind this principle is that in this world, from the creation of the world at the cosmogonic level, the sparks of holiness are mixed with sparks of impurity, Tuma. And this, or we can say that this mixture of good with bad, Yetzer Hara and the Yetzer Hatov, are mixed within every human being, within everything that we observe in the universe. And more than that, according to the sages, when you see something very bad happening, inside there is holiness, there is Kedusha contained, that is hidden, that is trapped. And what is the purpose of the Jewish people, it says here, according to the words of Rabbi Yosef Haim, is to break the shells, the klipot, and to take out the light, to free the sparks of Kedusha. From this we can learn that sometimes in our lives there are difficult situations. There are people who are going through hardships, a disease, illness, plagues, people that are struggling because they cannot get enough from their job, the money they pay is low, people that are going through difficulties, they're trying to refine their character, they're going through many difficulties. As you know, there are many bad things happening in the world. What we learn from this is that inside that adversity, or behind, we call it inside, because within that trial there is also goodness. This is the Kedusha, the holiness that is hidden within something that we define as bad. Within that there are sparks of Kedusha. So from here we learn that the Jewish person must learn to differentiate, to take out from a bad situation, from a bad experience. You have to be able to see the goodness that is hidden inside. If you are facing an adversity, if you are facing economic difficulties, if you are facing illness, you have to try to find the goodness even within that moment of darkness. It's very difficult. It's not simple. It's not an easy job. But what Rabbi Yosef Haim is letting us know is that there is something good behind that we think is evil, that inside that we think is bad. Again, it's like every person. Inside of us we have good side and a bad side. But if you're always looking at the bad qualities of a person, look at him, he's aggressive and he speaks this way and this and that, why stop focusing on bad things and look at the good things that is inside the person as well. If you look at the good things, then you will be able to free those sparks, meaning in your eyes as well, you will be able to see good. So literally, not only this is affecting you, but you are also affecting the other person, because then you will behave good towards the other person, because you're focusing on the good. And when you behave good, then you are helping the person, the other one, to make the tikkun and to turn the negative energy into good ones. And this is like going in both directions, towards the other person, and it's coming towards you as well. So this is one of the deep secrets here that we have from Rabbi Yosef Haim. Now, he also says something very important here. He says that once that this process of freeing all the sparks of the Kedusha, meaning once the person is able to rectify the evil inclination, and we turn this energy into good, and the person is able to walk perfectly, or the most complete way that the person can before Hashem and before other people, and we reach this level not only at a personal level but also at a cosmogonic level, meaning the whole universe will be rectified. Then what he says here, that when all these days will become, it says, when it is completed, then all the days will become one long and wholesome day that has the same level of Kedusha, because there will be no blemishes, in a spiritual manner speaking, to differentiate one day from another. What is the meaning of this? He says the following. Now we can explain the pasuk, meaning the verse that says, Vayehi erev, and there was night, there was evening. And it says that the word erev is from the word eruv, mixing of the good sparks of Kedusha with the bad parts. The pasuk added, Vayehi boker, and there was morning. It's coming from Lashon, from the expression, from the language, Vayiqer, Yevaker, to inspect. Similar to its use in the pasuk in Vayikra 27 verse 33 that says, Lo Yevaker bein tov lara. He shall not inspect, he says here, the tithe animal within whether it is good or bad. When all the selection process is completed, it will then be Yom Echad, one day, to mean that all the days will have equal importance. Because for us today, the most important day for the Jewish people, what is? The Shabbat. So the level of Kedusha of the Shabbat is not the same level of Kedusha as the other days of the week. And there are certain days in the month don't have the same level of Kedusha as other months. But what we learn from this, that when we reach the level of perfection of the whole universe, the whole tikkun, rectification of the world is done at a personal level, at a cosmogonic level, then he says, Rabbi Yosef Haim says, that it would be like one long and wholesome, meaning complete day, that has the same level of Kedusha, with no blemishes, and there is no way to differentiate between one way and another, because he says here, it means that all days will have equal importance. Not only Shabbat will be like holy, but all of the days of the week. That's why the sages explain, this is making reference to the Messianic times, when he says that the Messianic time is known as a great Shabbat. Like it says that it's like a great Shabbat, meaning it will be a time when everything will be rectified. This is what the Mekubalim, the Kabbalists call Olam Atzilut, the world of the universe of Atzilut. This is the world of rectification. This is the primordial state, and everything is rectified, and we are approaching that state, world level. We could define it in different ways. And this is what other people call Olam Haba. This is what other people call the Messianic times. And it will be a time and that all the days will have equal importance, because it says here that everything will be rectified. This is the opinion of Rabbi Yosef Haim. Now, he explains the following in reference to other pasuk he has here. He says there are many sections here that we can quote. There's another pasuk in this week's Parashat Bereshit. He says here, "Lo tov hayot ha'adam levado, se lo ezer kenegdo." Hashem said, meaning God speaking, "It is not good that man is alone. I shall make him a helpmate opposite him." Bereshit 2, verse 18. Rabbi Yosef Haim says the following: the Yetzer Tov and the Yetzer Hara are both called Lev. We will explain why. Lev means heart in Hebrew. Lamed Bet. As we saw in Kohelet 10, verse 2, he said, what does it say? Lev Chacham limino belev kesil lismolo. The heart of a wise man is on his right, and the heart of a fool is on his left. Usually we identify good with the right side, and we identify evil, bad, with the left side. This means the Yetzer Tov is on the right, and the Yetzer Hara is on the left side. And in Devarim 6:5, we were told, Vekol levavecha, with all your heart you have to serve Hashem, to mean that one shall worship God the Almighty with both inclinations, with the Yetzer Hara, with the evil inclination, and with the Yetzer Tov, with the good inclination. Sometimes we think, we have inside of us, right? Like I said, we just read, we know, good inclination and bad inclination inside of all of us, like we explained before. Now the person says, okay, let me reject the Yetzer Hara. The Chamim say, wait a second, you have to use all your koach, because the pasuk in Devarim says you have to serve Hashem vekol levavecha, with all your heart. And with all your heart means with your Yetzer Hara and with your Yetzer Tov. How do we know this? Rabbi Yosef Haim, he continues, he says, ideally a person should only have one heart. And this is achieved through Torah learning and making his Yetzer Hara, meaning the evil inclination, submit and become included along with the Yetzer Tov, with the good inclination. Now, he's explaining, like I said before, that in the heart of a person there are two inclinations. The heart of a person is divided because you want to do what is good, but there is a strange power, inclination, force, energy that is driving a person away to do bad things. So that's why it says that the heart of a person is divided because you want to do good, but the bad is there, and then you are going back and forth. In the heart wants sometimes to do certain things that are not that good, and but you are like, oh my God, this energy is very strong. That's why the heart of a human being is divided between the Yetzer Tov and the Yetzer Hara, between the good and the bad inclination. That's why we say it's two. There are two sections in the heart. We're talking, of course, metaphorically. Now it says here that the idea should be to serve Hashem with the whole heart. But that's why it says, the pasuk in the Barim, Deuteronomy 6:5 says, serve Hashem vekol levavecha. Why is it vekol levavecha? With the Yetzer Hara and with the Yetzer Tov, because these are the two inclinations. But you have to take the Yetzer Hara and subjugate it. You have to train it. You have to teach the Yetzer Hara to do what is good. And there is a great secret here, because the power to do bad in this world manifests sometimes even stronger than the desire to do good, because you see that the tendency for a human being, like it says in the Torah as well, is to do bad even when the person is young. You see that there's an inclination. You have to discipline, you have to learn, you have to discipline yourself to do what is good, to do what is right. So that means that the tendency, the natural way is to to go with the Yetzer Hara, with the bad inclination. But we know here that with Torah learning and with keeping mitzvot, the person is able to turn his heart, the side of the Yetzer Hara, the bad inclination, into do what is right. Now there is a secret here, following again the pasuk that we just read from Genesis 2:18. Remember, let's read it again. לא טוב היות האדם לבדו, זה לא עשר כנגדו. It's not good for man to be alone. I will make him a helpmate opposite him. This is when God was about to create a wife for Adam. The word in the pasuk here, it says the word do. It says לא טוב היות האדם לבדו. It says the word do, which means two in Greek, also means two, as we see in Masechet Kiddushin 41a. It says taf limitev tan do. A woman prefers to be paired, to get married with another person, than to remain alone. Now, Rabbi Yosef Haim explains to us, what does this mean? Remember, we're looking at the word levado. And what we see from here is that he's dividing the word into, so to explain. The pasuk from this parasha stated, Lo tov hayod ha'adam levado. And here the word levado, or livdo, could be divided into two parts. Lev, do. Meaning the word alone, could be in Hebrew, could be divided into two. Lev, do. To mean that it is not good for man to be of two hearts, like we explained. Of two nature, meaning Yetzer Hara and Yetzer Tov, good and evil inclination. The pasuk is teaching us that a person is not good to have the heart divided. It's not good to have this tendency, I want to do what is right, but I'm doing something else. There's people who are trying to fight against gluttony. They're eating a lot. They know that they have to be able to restrain themselves to have better health. But the desire, even when they smell the food, is so strong that it's taking them, to eat non-stop. Someone who wants to do diet should be able to train the Yetzer Hara, the inclination to do what is not good. What is not good? To eat too much. So it's not good to have the heart divided, because the person is not, his mind is going here and there. You have to have one resolution, one heart. You set a goal and you try to follow it. There is a battle in the meantime until you are able to train yourself and to have mastery of your own body, of your own thoughts, of your emotions, of your actions. And that's why Rabbi Yosef Haim says, look at the word in Hebrew when it says lebado. You could divide it in two. You have the letters lamed bet dalet vav. If you divide it in two, is lamed bet, meaning heart, lev, and do. And we just explained that the word do, also in Greek and also in Aramaic, means two. So even in the word levdo, alone in Hebrew, could also means, or secretly is hidden, two hearts. That's what he's saying. Levdo, two hearts. And what is the meaning of this? The two tendencies that are inside a person, the Yetzer Hara and the Yetzer Tov, the good inclination and the evil inclination. So this is fascinating how Rabbi Yosef Haim is explaining. The pasuk continues and says, and the word Ezer, helper, he says that Hashem will make the man a helper. And in Hebrew the word is Ezer. He says, Ezer means to help. And what is the meaning of this? Help what? With these inclinations, how do we help? Rabbi Yosef Haim says, this means the Torah. The Torah is the one that is going to help us to train the Yetzer Hara and turn it to help us, to help the Yetzer Tov, the good inclination. Meaning that it's not to destroy the Yetzer Hara. It's not about pushing away, like some people say, destroy this. No, we are redirecting this energy to do good. That's why you have to serve Hashem, to serve the Almighty, with all your heart, with the good inclination and with the bad inclination. Because at the end, we are imperfect human beings. And I have to serve my God with all my strength. Even with the energy that I would use to do something bad, I will not use. When you don't do that is improper, if you stop doing things that are bad, sins, then you will use that energy to do good. This is the idea. This is what it means to serve Hashem, or the Almighty, even with the Yetzer Hara. Meaning, the Yetzer Hara, or this type of energy or tendency, is what we use to do things that will bring us to a state of unbalance. But if you refrain from doing things that are not appropriate or not good for you, then that energy that you would have used to do what is wrong, now you're going to use that energy to do what is right. So you are strengthening the Yetzer Tov, the good inclination, and you have basically used, or have achieved mastery of using the Yetzer Hara to do what is good for you. And I put an example. For example, this could be explained in a different way. Let's say that a person is very aggressive, is very angry, always arguing with his wife. The person is always arguing with the children, complaining about everything and this and that. So there are people who do this for no reason. This is the example. If the person is able to control himself, and instead of using that energy of being angry, aggressive, and this and that, which is the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, this tendency to confrontation, if he refrains himself, he learns, he teaches himself with the help of the Almighty not to do these things, and instead of using that energy, that time, that moment, that day to be angry, instead of that, he trained himself with Torah learning, with ethics, with books of refinement, etc., with fasting. There are many things that we could do here. Instead of wasting his time, his energy, feeding the Yetzer Hara, the unbalances in his life, then now he will use that time, that energy, those words, to praise his wife, to get better and closer to his children, to say I'm sorry, to apologize, to get closer. Meaning you are now using that tendency, that energy on the side of the Yetzer Tov, or the good inclination. This is bringing good things into your life. So now from here we see that a person is able to purify his heart. This is the idea. Ultimately, we have to work on our hearts. That's why the Torah says, "B'kol levavecha," with all your heart, like as one. Unify your heart as one. And you have to be able to purify your heart. This is known as circumcision of the heart. This is how the prophet Yirmiyahu calls it. Circumcision of the heart. We also know it as purification of the heart. Meaning we read our heart, we get in the way, we discarding all this negativity, all this energy, angry, jealousy, aggressiveness, laziness, and we are now working on improving ourselves, improving our ethical character, improving as to be a better husband, a better father, a better brother, a good neighbor, to serve Hashem the Almighty in a better way, to take care of our own situation, our own condition, our own spiritual condition, physically and spiritually. And like I said, I could bring many examples here. Someone, for example, that is very lazy, doesn't work. The person is lazy all the time. We learn from this. A person have to be able to stand up, to work, get a job, or go study, get a profession somehow, and so you can support your family, for example. Sometimes the wife is a lot of time yelling at with the husband, or arguing with the husband. You think it's her fault. Maybe it's that you are not providing enough, and you have to provide not only with material, with money, but also physically, with love. You have a sexual relation, you have to care for your wife, care for the family, protect the family. There are many things here that we can, many examples that we can bring. And you can see that there are many other secrets and many hidden teachings that we can bring for Rabbi Yosef Haim. There is a lot here. I thought that we'll have enough time to share many of the insights, but I don't want to make these videos too long. I would like to share a few gems, because again, to share every little secret of the teachings of Rabbi Yosef Haim will take us a lifetime. But we can choose a few of portions from the Parashat of the week and share it with you. So, B'ezrat Hashem, I hope that this video was a great benefit, great light. And in other videos we'll continue B'ezrat Hashem on a weekly basis with the teachings of the weekly Torah reading, with the commentaries of Rabbi Yosef Haim, Ben Ish Chai, Zechuto Yagen Alenu. May the Ben Ish Chai, may his Zechut be upon us, that we'll be able to share his Torah with this generation, for whoever wants to benefit from the spirituality and the wisdom of the Jewish sages. May the Almighty bless you, sending you greetings, blessings, kol haberachot from the holy city of Jerusalem. May the Almighty bless you. Shalom.